On Saturday, February 7th, the WBA Featherweight title was on the line as we saw Brandon Figueroa challenge titleist Nick Ball for the world title. It was an opportunity for Brandon to once again win a world championship for a third weight class, and it was also an opportunity for Ball to certify his position in the division. It was an entertaining match, and both men came away having learned something about themselves. Let's talk about this fight because it was important. Everything that surrounded it, the drama that was in the ring didn't match what was happening outside of the ring. I'll elaborate. When Nick Ball entered the ring against Brandon Figueroa for his defense of the WBA Featherweight title, it was another Mutt and Jeff type matchup where we saw the 5'8.5", 5'9" Figueroa taking on the 5'2" Ball. But the interesting aspect of this fight was the battle was mostly in the center of the ring. And we saw Figueroa, who could switch southpaw to orthodox, give Ball a physical fight because Ball likes to be physical, and he wasn't able to bully Figueroa around. Figgy is known to be able to body up with guys. He's not afraid of contact. And he presented himself in that manner. But Ball, who has enjoyed success, found that there was a puzzle that he couldn't solve because he couldn't force Figgy backwards. It was a situation where he was going to have to try to catch him with something, but he ended up fighting the type of fight that saw him catching something, because Ball, who's a physical presence, even though he's a short man, he's strong, and he's had his way with most of his opponents. But Brandon was doing something to him that many of Ball's past opponents weren't able to do. He was working the body from the inside out, from the outside in. And it was really a situation where it depleted Ball as the fight went on to a 12th round stoppage where 32 seconds into the 12th, Figgy caught him with a counter left that put Ball face down and found him barely able to rise inside the count, even though it was an extended count by referee Steve Gray. Keep your eye on that man. He has done things very questionable in the past as far as his officiating, particularly in lieu of fighters from the UK. The fight could have been waved off as soon as Ball hit the canvas, because he hit the canvas face first and found it very difficult to get up inside the count. And even as he rose to his feet, Gray was trying to speak to him and delay and give him extra time when the fight should have resumed. It was just moments after that that Figgy ended up stopping him, putting him down for a second time. But even more interesting, as they were celebrating Figgy's victory, Ball's cornermen stormed the ring and began to go after the Figueroa camp. Manny Robles spoke about this in the dressing room after the fight, and much to the surprise to most observers, he shared some information that was not really readily available. He spoke about there were issues with the Ball camp leading into the fight on fight day, like coming into the arena and finding out that Ball, in preparation of the evening's event, already had his hands wrapped when they had agreed through pre-fight negotiations that someone would be present to watch the wraps. But don't just take it from me. You can hear Robles talk about this.
We knew that. I mean, there were the stuff that went on in the locker room prior to the fight, you know, with the whole hand wraps. We show up to the venue and Nick Ball's got his hands wraps already without our supervision, you know, and that you can't do that, especially it's a main event fight. And we talked about this at the fighters meeting. Hey, listen, I want to watch your hand wraps, vice versa. Great. And we show up, hey, he's got his hands wrapped already. What do you mean? And the commissioner's like, well, there's nothing we can do. And then I called the WBA supervisor. He didn't do anything. I was like, no, we can't do that. What's done is done. No, rules are rules. And so we felt disrespected. Obviously, it got fixed. Listen, it's a long story, but anyway, that's the type of stuff we had to deal with yesterday at the weigh.
You see, Manny is a very transparent gentleman for a coach, and he was explaining exactly how the climate of Liverpool, UK, how they were treating the challenger in Brandon Figueroa. But thankfully, Manny Robles is a very experienced boxing trainer. He's been around the block quite a bit, and he knows what to look for. But as he begins to elaborate, there was even more. Take a listen.
And he was an hour late to the weigh-in. Nick Ball was an hour late to the weigh-ins. Listen, I love the guy. He's a great guy, great fighter. I respect his team. But what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And you can't be an hour late to the weigh-ins, man. And so we're there waiting for him, and then finally we weighed in, and obviously they both guys made weight, which is great. We want to have a fight. But, I mean, come on, man. How are you an hour late and you don't reprimand the guy or their team? You know what I mean? The rules are rules.
That's just totally disrespectful to the fight, to the sport, and to, personally, the Figueroa camp. You see, sometimes they feel like when you're coming from overseas, they can bully you and treat you a certain kind of way due to it being their home situation. But you don't have to go through with the shenanigans if you are an experienced camp coordinator like Manny is. And the fact that he's revealing this post-fight shows you that they were there to take care of business. But he's letting you know that it wasn't easy. There's something that needs to be looked at and investigated by the ball camp, because it appears that they were trying to stack circumstances in their favor, including the judges, where though it was a closely contested fight, Figueroa needed the knockout for the victory, because just as midway through the fight might have been one round or two rounds one way or the other. As we got into that championship 12th round, and he expressed to Brandon exactly how important it was for him to go in there, try to win that round, maybe get a knockdown, do something very aggressive, because you're in this guy's backyard. Listen further.
And I understand. I listen. This is my first rodeo, so obviously coming into the lines, then like I said, being on the B side, I understand these things, and I understand that what we're up against as well.
That must make the victory even more sweeter then, with everything you've gone through before the fight.
Yeah, hey, welcome to boxing, man. You know what I mean? Especially when you're on the B side. We love to prove people wrong. Another upset, man. Here we are. And you win your fights in the gym. Don't leave it to the judges. Don't leave it to the ref, because if you do that, you never know what you're gonna get.
And he's totally 100% correct about that, especially in a hostile environment of which they found themselves. As I stated, the ball camp went after Figueroa after the stoppage of the fight, inciting the public to start to throw debris into the ring, which brought back shades of Marvelous Marvin Hagler with his victory over Alan Minter. You see, they were sore losers, the UK fans as well as the ball camp. No one was over-celebrating, no one was taunting. When you win and the referee declares you have victory, it's only natural for you to throw your arms in the air and celebrate and maybe yell out a scream or two, and for your corner people to get in the ring and lift you up and start hugging and celebrating. Ball's people went over there, pushed them back. Andrew Kane, who fought on the undercard and is out of the ball camp as well, kicked at the Figueroa guys. What was that all about? Unsportsmanlike conduct. And this is the type of thing that really sucks in the sport of boxing. And you heard Manny say, even the sanctioning supervisors did nothing to really protect the fighter's best interests. This was something that, if you looked at how the fight went, it was a very competitive match, but it was going to require something special to happen. And fortunately for Figueroa, he was able to pull the fight out with that 12th round stoppage. I'm almost certain that they would have scored the fight for Ball, because this is what they do. But Brandon was able to hang in there, and he was able to show his wares. Man, did he show class, even after the fight, to the degree of almost being apologetic for the misunderstanding that they weren't taunting. Listen, you did nothing wrong, son, and you did exactly what you were supposed to do. You went overseas and handled your business, and now you are a 3-division, 3-time world titleist. That is an effort and an achievement that is valued and respected. The behavior of those from the camp of Ball was deplorable. I really enjoy the fact that Manny Robles has brought this young man along, because he had some setbacks. But it looks great, the seat that they're now sitting in. And even if there happens to be a rematch ordered or suggested, they should consider having it in either neutral territory or in the States. But what do you think? This is Stormy B-Man. Shout out to the mighty LDBC and Liberated Perspective, a third eye view of the world. For more content such as this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Let me know your thoughts about this fight, how it turned out, and what would you like to see next down the line for Brandon Figueroa. Leave comments and let's discuss further. Peace to everyone out there, and everyone please remain safe.